You are listening to the Hello Sport Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Hello Sport Podcast. I'm unqualified opinion and unwavering bias. Monday, the 10th of January, Eddie. 10th of January, 2022. Eddie in Avoca. Tom still in Bellevue Hill. Eddie horizontal with fucking margarita in hand. Tom horizontal with Panadols in hand, Nurofen in hand. Daddy got COVID.
It was always going to get you first, mate. I think we knew that.
I was wondering whether I've also been locked out of Facebook for like fucking the entirety of the new year, so I haven't seen anything on P's and D's, but I was going to I almost wanted to put up a market at the start of the year of like who gets COVID first, Tom, Eddie, or D or Dave. Doesn't matter now.
It doesn't matter. And I think maybe that's just like a sweet idea in essence, more than sort of practice, because you would have been $1 favorite. There wouldn't have been a market. It would have been Tom $1. That's it.
I forget that I'm like quick to fall with these sort of things. I sort of think like when I'm thinking of that idea, I'm like, well, it could be anyone. Eddie's ripping and tearing in Byron, but no, just me being fucking at home basically is how I got it. Well, I also probably got it at the cricket, but
where do you think you got it? At the cricket?
I don't know, dude. Like the cricket was, fuckloads of people just all ripping and tearing. Some wearing masks, some not. It's like, but also the masks aren't doing shit in that scenario. Like a mask, I imagine might, if it's like you've got a mask on, I've got a mask on, one of us has COVID, maybe it'll stop. But there's like just a room jam-packed full of people screaming, laughing and yahooing. You know, like how in like Indian city, not just Indian cities, but you see those like heavily densely populated cities where there's like a layer of smog that just sits atop it.
Yeah.
I imagine SCG members was just like, there was just a COVID cloud in the room if you were able to see it. And if you're in there and you hadn't already had COVID, you've fucking basically gotten it. One of the chat groups, which was like our Ashes get together, they're just all slowly dropping.
I tell you what, Tom, it doesn't help that you've got a belly full of liquor. Australia's out there ripping and tearing, doing the damn thing. And you're having, a belly full of laughs and then maybe a few kisses, maybe a few hugs, maybe a few ass slaps. You know what I mean? Because it's still January. Don't forget that. And when you're feeling good, you like to make your mate feel good.
Exactly. Everyone's screaming. There's a photo of friend of the show. I won't say his name. I don't know. I think some people still like see, even though majority of people fucking almost have COVID now, it still almost seems a bit like, ugh. But one of my mates who was with us at the cricket on Wednesday, well, so I was there Wednesday. I got diagnosed. I pissed hot on Friday. But there's a photo of him like licking my face or kissing my face or some shit. And it's like, we're just all wondering whether that's the moment he got it.
Or the moment he gave it to you.
Well, true, but he only just got it. He only pissed hot yesterday. But I guess that doesn't really matter necessarily.
Mate, I don't really think anyone like truly knows how this thing works. You know what I mean? Like how it truly works.
Yeah, maybe he gave it to me and he was just asymptomatic for a few days.
We got like mates of ours he was, a mate of ours was sharing jewels and, kisses and hugs and beers and shit with heaps of people that had it, never got it, and then got it and then got rid of it in 3 days.
Dude, and was
what I mean?
pounding fucking stair runs and hills the whole time. Didn't stop.
And
he was crook as fuck.
Yeah. He's cut from a different cloth, Tom.
No, he is.
And I think that's what COVID's showing us, that some of us cut from a different cloth.
Yeah, I'm cut from the cloth that everyone expected, which was you're getting it. Yeah, he's getting it.
And not only is he getting it, but he's going to be a little bit sick.
Yeah, but dude, I really wasn't. And I'm still like, this is the best I've felt today.
Well, give us a play-by-play.
So dude, I tell you what, and I don't know if it's because I'm over-analyzing it because it's COVID and it's like, it's like the hot virus in town. So am I paying way more attention to the minutiae and idiosyncrasies of this virus because it's the hot shit? Like it's the one that everyone's talking about.
It's in vogue, Tom.
It's in vogue. It's a new kid on the block. I don't know. But if I'm reading the signs and paying attention, I do feel like it does. It's unlike anything I've ever had. So it's been a bit of an experience in that sense. Started off with sneezes, which for me, that's spring, baby. I'm sneezing 3 months out of the year. So I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, fuck, got hay fever, blasting my sort of steroid spray up the nose.
What was your SPM, sneezes per minute?
Oh, look, SPMs when the sneezes were on.
Yes, when you're active.
When you're actively sneezing was probably around 7 to 10 if it was a bad one. But
Okay.
I'd say it was about 7. And they were big. They weren't little ones. They were ones that you had to fucking put your whole body into. But that's hay fever. That's the life I'm in. So I started with that and runny nose. Once the nose started running, I was like, okay. Now, you do get a runny nose with hay fever, but this was like, okay. This
like
is
a
just
tap.
It was a tap.
Mm.
That was Thursday. And then I woke up Friday. Well, so that was Thursday. Evie also sick Thursday. So once she was like, she was sick earlier in the week, but it wasn't like COVID sick. So we just sort of thought, oh, she's just a little bit, daycare, fucking whatever. But then Thursday she was temperatures. And it was like, oh, okay. So then we tested Evie Thursday. And usually with those PCRs, it's like, or the rats, sorry, whatever the fuck they are. It's like, wait 15 minutes and it'll let you know. We literally did hers and it just went bang, positive. We're like, okay. A lot of strong antibodies in this one. Not antibodies, whatever it is, strong fucking viral load. So anyway, it went from that. I woke up Friday morning though, going, okay, no, this, like Steph and I were both like, we've definitely got it here. Like we both slept shit. Headaches like a motherfucker.
Sore throat?
Not yet. Not yet. So it just started off as sneezes, runny nose, headache. And it's just like this band around the front of your head. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Again, not floor you though. Not floor your stuff. Just like you'd need to take a break and just sort of jam your fingers into your head for sort of like maybe a few minutes. And then you're like, okay, I've released some pressure. I'm back to living my life, back to moving. Then it's when you start getting the like, oh, I'm feeling like weak, muscles aching, that sort of shit. All the telltale signs of like a flu, but you're getting like all these symptoms at different times and they come and they go and they come and they go and they come and they go. So we pissed off Friday. Friday night was bad. That was like shit sleep, sweaty.
Oh, night sweats.
Yeah, dude, night sweats, like night sweats. But again, though, Eddie, in terms of how bad I felt, it was never that bad. It was more like, it was like inconvenient.
Did you watch the Inspired Unemployed when they got it? Did you watch their stories?
Yeah.
Nothing like that?
Maybe. Honestly, if I was around all my mates and didn't have to be locked down with fucking children, it probably would have been that fun. Like,
and you would have went, and yeah, but like, did you see their beds and shit, like drenched in sweat?
No. Wasn't that bad. Like, maybe it was if I looked for it, but I don't know. To be honest, man, the hardest thing about the last fucking, what are we, Monday, happened Friday, but essentially Thursday, the hardest part's been locked down with 2 babies. Like, Steph and I are like, this is torture. Love them to death, but like, I swear to God, one day, Evie watched Bluey, shout out to Bluey, phenomenal show, and other assorted TV shows from like 7:30 in the morning until the end of the day. And I was like, this isn't ideal parenting, but it was essential parenting. It was like, I have no energy or strength to do anything. And when Bluey's not on, she's like, chase me. It's crazy, dude. Kids are sick and they don't actually stop going. They're just sick. Like she has a temperature, still running around the house.
Mate, kids have got the greatest engines on planet Earth. Now, I don't know if scientists, like, that Ferrari guy that was like doping up Lance Armstrong and shit, has looked into the engines of children and how to sort of tap into that, but they don't quit.
Well, I mean,
quitting them.
People think fucking Nathan Hindmarsh had a good engine.
No.
Have a look at Evie Rose Birmingham. Thank you very much. She could go fucking...
She could go from dusk till dawn, mate.
She could go 80 minutes on her ear. She doesn't give a shit.
Origin football, too, in the middle, doing the dirty stuff.
Oh, fucking oath. Absolutely. None of the bloody glory-seeking shit out on the edges.
No.
Tough stuff. Tough carries.
Tough carries, tough tackles, big plays through the middle, all guts.
All guts. Not me, though. Not me.
Not
Not
you.
me, not Steph.
Well, you are all guts, but not the same.
I'm all guts, but not effort. So anyway, like today I've woken up. Today I feel the best I've felt. The sore throat started to kick in. That's the thing, right? Like one thing goes and then another thing comes in. So like the body weakness goes, but then, a bit of a sore throat. You're like, oh, okay. And then the sore throat might die down. And then now it's like, I'm feeling pretty much good, but my throat's sore as fuck. But I'm like, well, all right. It's just a weird one.
You still look good, bruh.
Yeah, I don't feel like the looks have deserted me.
They haven't. Look, if it was a virus where your looks deserted you, different kettle of fish. Now we've got big problems.
Now we've got serious problems. Now we need to shut down the world.
Yeah. That's when you shut the world down. When looks start to desert the people. Oh, you'd see action then. Ooh, you'd see action.
Not from the uglies. The uglies would be happy.
It'd split the people right down the middle. Much like vaxxers and anti-vaxxers, it'd be the ugly and the hot.
The uglies wouldn't give a shit. They'd be like, well, fuck you.
Yeah. Come down to our level, bruh. Walk a day in our shoes.
Yeah, no, we'd need to, there'd be like a hot island where we'd all just have to go.
Hot island. Yeah. And you get tested on the way, and if you still got your looks, you're in.
Well, dude, that'd be tough, wouldn't it? Rocking up to Hot Island, imagine rocking up thinking you were in. They're like, oh, no, dude.
Well, it's like in I Am Legend when they're trying to get onto the ferry to leave New York and they're scanning them on the way through. It's like, ooh, bro, I don't know. You came here hot and you're losing your looks, and
you're losing, or you were never hot and you just
and you rolled the dice and you're not as hot as you thought you were.
Thought you were.
Because your friends are telling you you're an 8 your whole life just to trying to pump you up. You've got high on your own supply. You rock up, they go, you're actually a 3, bro. You're not coming in.
You might be a small town 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But now welcome to the pros, bro. Welcome to the pros. There's no time for that bush league shit here. This is Hot Island, mate. You got to bring it.
If you're a small town 10, you got to fucking know that this ain't the way it goes, brother. Sorry. Like, sure, you can have Miranda Kerr's a small town 10, but she's also she's a
global 10.
A global 10.
Well, she breaks the fucking scale in small town Gunnedah, wherever she's from.
I think it was Gunnedah. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name, but
I think they had to rewrite the record books out there off the back of her work for small town 10s. Is she the queen of the small town 10s? Given that she went on to higher accolades.
Look, Eddie, I think that sort of like showbiz and Hollywood is probably littered with small town 10s that are fucking done good, but they are the anomaly, because even though there's a lot of them in Hollywood, say, it's like that's a small portion of the 7 or 8 billion people that populate this great world of ours, this planet Earth, place we call home.
That's right.
But the amount of small town 10s who are big city 6s.
Yep. Is beyond count, Tom. Is beyond count.
It's beyond fucking count. So you might be the hottest shit in your town, but you get to the big city, you're a flat 6 at best.
You're a flat 6 at best. And I'll give you the hot tip. If you want to get onto Hot Island, what are you going to be, a 9 min?
I think you could probably be an 8. I reckon an 8.
You reckon they're letting 8s on? That swells the size. How big's the island, Tom?
Well, that's also
now you've got logistical issues. I mean,
I think an 8 can 8s can go up.
Can become 9s?
I don't know, dude. I feel like 8s are still pretty hot.
Oh, but 8s are hot. 8s are hot.
We don't make Hot Island. The cutoff's 9, Eddie. We don't make it if it's 8.
We're not on Hot Island, bro, and that's just fine.
How are you now? You have moved from one holiday destination to the next.
Yeah, from one to another, Tom. Just from left Byron last night, or yesterday rather. Big trip down south, but an easy trip. Shout out to the New South Wales government and those in charge of state infrastructure, Tom, for knocking up one of the great freeways all time. You can go from Tweed Heads all the way down to Sydney. It's an absolute fucking ripper. Like, you meander through Coffs Harbour, which slows you down a pinch. You sort of meander through the outskirts of Newcastle, which slows you down a piece. But by and large, Tom, one of the great freeways all time. It's smooth as a baby's bottom. There's no quit in it. You can do 110 most of the way. So you just cruise control that bitch, podcast up, and just pound it out. And that's what we did yesterday. Tonka was fucking over it, but that's all right. He lives.
How'd the lower back hold up?
Absolutely fine, mate. I'm fighting fit. I'm at fighting weight right now. I could fight tomorrow. I'm feeling great. Well, that's what happens when you fucking drink margaritas in a bath, Tom. It's healing.
Yeah.
There's healing properties. But Byron was lovely.
You are as relaxed as it gets. I hope you're relaxed.
Well, Tom, I'll tell you what. When we first got to Byron, there was a bit of partying done. And then Jarch and Steph came up and met us. Jarch, who had been in isolation because of COVID, wanted to rip and tear as well. So there was a little bit of partying there. The last couple of days were very nice, very R&R, very chilled, very relaxed. No one around, just me and Elza. So I could put the feet up. I intend to put the feet up some more on this family holiday in Avoca. So I will come back completely refreshed and ready to rip and tear for the punter and the dribbler all year long. That I promise you. Well, not all year long, until November when I have a wedding. But up until that point, you're going to get full rip and tear out of me. Full rip and tear.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think that's, mate, if they're going to complain about that, you can all get fucked because that's generous.
Yeah, that is. That's more than enough. Like, not even more than enough. That's just more than they deserve.
More than they deserve. More than they deserve. Far more than they deserve. But that's all right, Tom. We're no stranger to hard work, mate. But I am feeling awfully relaxed. I feel like I'm, on behalf of the podcast, doing the relaxing so that when I come back and I'm relaxed, you'll be more relaxed. That's my hope for us.
Right. So you're hoping that maybe like your viral load of relaxation.
Yes. It's contagious.
Yeah. It's contagious. And then I can maybe, dude, maybe. I'll tell you what would be nice if you could like find a fucking babysitter who doesn't mind, not even a babysitter, but just like
give it to him over there.
If your viral load of relaxation can just maybe get someone who like looks after my kids from like 8 a.m. till 4 in the arvo every day of the week.
Yeah. What you're thinking? What you're wanting to get an au pair, Tom?
Well, I can't afford an au pair. There's certainly that, but I'm just.
You see an au pair in your future?
Look, not really, to be honest, because it's kind of, again, can't afford one. But even if I could, I don't think I'd want one. But why wouldn't I want one if I'm?
Could you? Well, is the grandma an au pair? Are they sort of?
Yeah, I kind of think you want to be able to. Well, they are. The nanas are au pairs of sorts. They're au pairs that we don't pay, which has got a nice ring to it. Free au pairs.
The unpaid au pair.
Yeah, the unpaid au pair. They don't do 5 days, 7 days a week, though. That's the problem. If we can work that, if we can work something there, then maybe we're into it. But anyway, and when are you back? Are you back Monday?
Tuesday. Got a wedding in Melbourne. Shout out to Ed Meyer on Sunday. Then I'm going to the Australian Open with many friends of the show, and then I'm back Tuesday morning.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Fucking putting the finishing touches on one of the great tours of all time.
Yeah. That's it. It needed a cherry, Tom. It needed a cherry. And a cherry it will get. Hopefully there will be plenty of Aussies in action there day one. We've got the ground passes, so I'll be down there ripping and tearing. Pray that it's not too hot. Pray that we get some good tennis.
So if you get
pray that Bernard Tomic gets a wild card and I see him on some backcourt day one, because I'd lose it if he was.
Shout out to everyone who sent us a wild card for Bernard pass things to put up. Got them, fully intended to post them, got hit with COVID, stopped caring about anything. So
that's fine.
Maybe I'll post them, maybe I won't. Get over it. Dude, so there's not a whole lot more from my life to report. I did want to give a Thick Ropes County cricket update, of which I've only played one game this year and I got 10, and it's fucking eaten away at me because obviously, I need to give more to the team, but I expect more from myself. So yesterday they played, and the night before, a friend of the show an esteemed member of the Thick Ropes County 11, Party Artie. He's one of our quicks that we really depend on.
Moves it both ways.
Party Artie was like, oi, boys, because he wasn't playing. He was like, oi, if anyone can't play, let me know. I'm keen to play tomorrow. So, like, if there's any last-minute bailouts, I'm here for you. As it turned out, someone was like, dude, actually, I can't play tomorrow. I got my fucking dates mixed up. Can you play? He's like, bang, I'm in. So, like, fuck yeah, Party Artie's playing. Again, one of our quicks of note.
This was yesterday?
Yeah, so it was Saturday night, and then yesterday he was meant to be playing. So the boys all got down there, and they're like, fucking anyone heard from Party Artie? He's not here. Everyone's trying to find out where he is. Then Sebo you thought you were Mr. Bath. Sebo is Mr. Bath. Sebo was like, I was actually just going to come down and watch. I'll come fill in if you want. So we were batting first, got absolutely rolled. Like the guys were just like, everyone was getting out, and basically Sebo wasn't there yet. So the way it works, right? If you can have one batter left, just fucking hitting the ball, playing for your life. You right?
Sorry, go.
So Sebo's had to like hoon in from his house.
Yep.
We're all out at this point, and the ref's gone, I'll give you 5 minutes to get this batter here. Otherwise, I'm just calling you all out. And we're on 69 runs at this point.
Yeah, not many.
No, fuck all. So Sebo, it's like the most triumphant fucking thing. Sebo's like, fuck it. Harvey's filmed it, and Sebo's like pulling into the cricket ground, and they're all clapping him and shit. He just literally pulls up the handbrake, leaves his car in the middle of the road because there's so little time. The street just jumps in the car to go park it, and Sebo just runs out onto the field, get out there, and gloriously go out there and bat for the Thick Rope County 11 to like save the day. It was
yeah. So put some runs on the board.
Needed to restore some pride for the side, and he got run out for a duck.
Did he face the ball?
Well, he faced the ball. He faced his.
He faced the ball and got run out.
Run out for a duck. And then we didn't hear anything else from the boys. Like, so they were giving us updates, batting and shit. They're like, fuck, where's Sebo? Where's Sebo? And then he's run out for a duck. They don't tell us. You can follow along online, and we're like, oh, fuck, Sebo's out for a duck. And then like 20 minutes later, it was a message that popped up from, I think it was my brother to another one of the boys in the team, like, and it was just like, oi, bring a couple of extra glasses. So like they were just already back at the pub, like the guys chasing runs in, like there was like this excitement while the game was still going, and like, Seb, get down there, come on, we've still a chance.
15 minutes later.
15 minutes later, they're literally at the pub. Seb's been running out for a duck, and they've chased down their 69 runs. Didn't add, so they were still all out for 69. They just wasted everyone's time waiting for Sebo to hoon in from fucking round.
I thought you were going to say he was bowled first ball, but getting run out's actually better.
It's actually worse because he didn't need to run. You can only
well,
run.
it's better for me, but it's worse generally.
Yes, exactly.
That is fucking hilarious. So great start to the year. Is that what I'm hearing?
Great start to 2022 for Thick Ropes.
Love that. I don't know when the Slippery Bucks are back on deck. It's either this Thursday or next Thursday. Might be next Thursday.
Are you fully like, we should probably genuinely speaking be factoring in the fact that you will come back from this wedding at the very least with COVID?
Maybe.
100%.
Maybe not.
Look, I know you're a tank water operator, but I'll bet my dick on it. Metaphorically speaking.
Do you know what, Tom? Maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah. But I kind of hope that you do, to be honest, because I think
Why?
Because we want to get it out of the way, dude. You're not going to get it. And the longer it goes on, this is still, if it's in January, we all acknowledge that January, not really. It's January still 2021 kind of. So,
well, I'll tell you what, if I'm going to a wedding into the Australian Open,
you would assume that you're probably going to get it.
Chances are good.
Yeah. Don't test yourself till you get back, because I don't want you fucking having to like, oh, you can't fly. Well, do you need to prove, like, you don't need to prove.
Why would I do that and strand myself in Melbourne?
Yeah, that'd be a silly decision. Anyway.
Mate, the government's made it very clear, as far as I'm concerned. there is wiggle room because you can't get tests. Testing at PCR, like who's going to wait 10 hours? You'd have to have fucking rocks in your head. And then you got to wait 5 days anyway.
What I don't understand is...
So they're basically saying go a vibe.
Yeah, but they're also going, oh yeah, just also like let us know if you got it. Like, or, you know, like, or I'll just get it, I'll recover, and then I'll bounce. Like, and then
Mate, how many people wouldn't report it? Like the numbers is like what 48,000 or something the other day. It would be more like 150,000 surely.
I reckon I know so many people who haven't reported it, and mainly like I don't even think you can in New South Wales yet. Maybe you can in Victoria, but it's like why? Like, can you be fucked?
Did you see? I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast or not. Again, I've been horizontal, so I'm not retaining a heap of information.
No.
Did you see the line in Castle Hill? Maybe it was Castle Hill that was like 4 kilometers long. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with people?
Why would
What is wrong with you? Why would you ever put yourself through that? To what end?
I think maybe some people have to
But you get your results 5 days later, and some people like my sister never even got her results. Like,
really?
Yeah, heaps of people. He's never even send them. Like, I don't know.
Lord,
what are you proving? I got my PCR test 7 days ago. Like, I'd be like, well, that doesn't mean anything.
Especially if it says negative, it means nothing. But like,
it means if past you was relevant now, sure.
You know what Steph's mum was telling me? So when she was in the line, and I think she had to do it for, I don't know why she did it, because she did get a positive rat test as well, but she also works in childcare, so I don't know, maybe it's something to do with that. But she was in the line, like these huge lines, and there are motherfuckers who drive up and cut the line. Like, there are people who drive up and see a gap.
To the very end? Or like gaps when people are driving?
People are driving and they just cut in and they're like, no, fucking too bad. Or they don't do anything. Like, I know that we make like sort of jokes about me fighting an ibis. If some motherfucker did that, and because like you got to get in these lines at like 4 a.m. sometimes, and you still got a few hours wait. Some piece of shit did that to me. I reckon I'd get out and like break their fucking side mirrors off. And I don't reckon you'd get in that much trouble. I reckon people would be like, that's a reasonable response to that behavior. Like, that is the stupidest fucking thing in the world.
Who do you reckon's doing that? Like, I mean, in terms of it's a ballsy operation. It is. I don't care who you are. Even if you're a psychopath, there is a level of like devil may care about it.
Sociopaths. Like,
have you got to be a big boy?
What, as in like, I'll fight you?
Well, I mean, in terms of like, how do you know that the person you're cutting off isn't also a motherfucker?
You remember that episode in Entourage where Johnny Drama gets out and just like blasts the fuck out of that car with a golf club?
Yes.
Obviously you wouldn't do that, but that would be the urge. I'd consider doing that.
And he points at him like this. He's like,
yeah.
Fucking boom, Johnny. And I think if a memory serves me, Tom, I think he does get the like the TV movie or whatever it was. I think he gets the part.
Yeah, he does.
I think it was with Brooke. Is it Brooke Shields?
Yeah.
And then he gets a hard on during the brother sister scene, and he asks to kiss her, and she's like, "That's fucking weird." And then he gets a hard on, and then he gets fired. Great stuff.
You're related. But don't you reckon that would be reasonable? Like, I think you're maybe more of a calm person than I am. I'm also by no means a hothead, but like, don't you think that would be a reasonable response to someone cutting in? Like, you've been waiting in those fucking lines for 4 hours at best.
But what makes it worse is you've been waiting in these lines for no reason.
But what about like, you need to piss? You can't get out. You just got to sit there and piss yourself in your car?
Well, you've got to go with someone. I mean, unless you're taking like a bedpan or something, Tom.
Tell you what,
do you need have bedpan sales gone through the roof? Surely.
Would have. They're not handing them out for free. If you can't,
I tell you what. If Big Bedpan wants to make some more money, they should get down there into those lines and walk along and go, "Who needs a bedpan?" Obviously, use it in your car, but like, how's $50 sound? I mean, if you're desperate. When you're desperate, Tom, you're desperate. It's as simple as that.
You're sitting in a line for 5 hours getting pieces of shit cutting in on you, and you need to wee, and you don't have anyone with you. Someone comes in to hocking bedpans. There's almost no limit to the amount of money. You'll clear out my account.
Look, I mean, especially if it's number 2, Tom, and you've had a couple of coffees because you've been up since 4 a.m. And nature calls, and someone goes, "Oi, mate, I've got a bedpan that's going to cost you $50. I know you don't carry cash because no one does. I'm thinking on my feet here. I've already brought down my little square.
Up and go.
I think you're paying $50. I think you're cleaning up. Now there's an idea for young entrepreneurs. Go fucking buy a bedpans and then go pound those lines.
And here's a way to really make money. Have a certain amount of bedpans. So don't have you do the walk up, give everyone bedpans, then you walk back down the other side of the car and you take the used bedpans, you collect, and then you just hose them down, back up again. So you're really not losing on materials. You're just using the same bedpans over and over and over again.
Yeah. Genius. Just wash it out, go again. Who wants to rent a bedpan?
Yes, it's a rental. We're not selling these things. We're renting.
No. Well, I mean, why would you buy one? You're only going to use it once. Rent my bedpan. I wonder if people are getting in lines early, then going on to Gumtree being like, I've got a spot near the front of this line, $200, $300, $400, $500. What's a man or woman going to pay for front of the line access? I don't know.
I don't hate that idea. I saw a thing on Brown Cardigan yesterday, which is obviously a joke, but it was on the Bondi local loop page, which is just the Bondi community.
There's a lot of jokey stuff gets put in there.
But it was someone wanting to buy COVID. Hey, I really need to get COVID. This is a good time to do it. Let me know, happy just to share a drink bottle, have you sneeze on me, whatever the fuck you want. But, I need to sort of...
You know what, though, Tom? They're probably not joking because it's the 10th of January. Most people going back to work today or next Monday going, I want an extra 10 days. Give it to me.
I can tell you it doesn't feel like 10 days off, but I just think it's a better way to... I just think...
But that's because you're a top of the heap podcaster and you enjoy your work. There's some people out there that would legitimately prefer to be sick than go back to work.
To be honest, I know jobs in the past where I'd much prefer to have COVID. Fucking do them. So
then a day on the tools. You know what I mean?
You know what? Probably a day on the tools I don't mind. More than getting up at fucking 4 in the morning.
2 in the morning you used to get up.
Sorry, 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning. You're right. Jesus. Yeah, give me COVID over that shit. Any day of the week.
But I'd like to talk some Test cricket with you, Dom. Dom, your name's Tom.
No.
You know why I want to talk Test cricket, Tom?
Because it's alive and well.
Yeah. You know me too well, bruh. Took the words right out of me mouth. There was a photo that you posted yesterday and it pumped its fucking ass off on Hello Sport. Shout out to Engagement and why we have the best. Of everyone crowding the bat. And I'm like, you know what I love about that fucking photo is that it implies a lot to people that know what they're looking about. It implies that we need wickets to win the match because we're running out of time or runs, either, but usually time. You don't see that unless you're in that circumstance. You know what I mean? You never crowd in the bat unless that's what's happening.
I was watching it with Steph and she was like, why don't they just do this all the time? I'm like, you know, when it's the most tense moment of a fucking test match for the entire summer and I'm getting questions at me, I don't want to have to be answering questions. She's like, I'm just asking. I'm like, no, I understand that. We could probably get through a lot of these questions after the game, after the fact. Yeah. Really, you're reading fucking stories with Evie. Yeah, but why are they doing that? Why do they do it all the time? I'm like, well, because you got to understand that England aren't really chasing runs because they can't win. They're only just trying to save for a draw. So it doesn't really matter if they score any runs. So we're crowding the bat to try and get a catch or, a wicket of some sort. Right. So they can't win. I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm trying to be.
No, they can't win. There's 7 overs left. They can't win. Well, they can, but they can't.
So Australia won? No, we haven't. If they can't win, we aren't necessarily definitely winning. It was a lot. Evie changed the channel. just after Smudge got his wicket, thank Christ. But I was like, and then I was having to frantically try, not even change the channel. She hit some button on the fucking TV where it was like, it took me to some place I've never been before. And I was like, oh my God, get out of here, right?
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. I had Elsa just like every sort of 5-7 minutes being like, do we have to listen to this?
Oh, dude.
I'm like, Ella.
On the radio, eh?
Oh, you remember like how 5 to 7 minutes ago I said that this is what Test cricket's all about and that I'm absolutely loving it and that ABC Grandstand is just fucking marinating me in so much fucking glorious yarn. Remember how I said that? Well, it hasn't changed and
we're still here.
It's getting better. It's getting better. So I'm going to need you to shut the fuck up while I enjoy what Test cricket's all about and that what we don't really get much of, especially in Australia.
You don't get those moments very often, dude, at all. I would love to know, and I'm sure someone will hopefully have put a package together at some point, but like, because watching it was obviously incredible and seeing Smudge get that wicket where it was like, fuck, the overs are going down and you're basically going, okay, like we're pretty cooked here. But then once he got that wicket, it was just everyone, the nation up and about. Just, it was so exciting. It was so like what the moment needed. But I imagine driving and listening and you've got the ambient crowd noise and you've got the sound of the scuffy feet on the pitch and like the grunt of the bowler as he's coming in trying to rip it. And hearing them like say that he's got this wicket, like that must have been fucking insane.
It was so sick because like you're imagining it. As you know what I mean? So you're sort of like, and then it's sort of, you can hear all the grunts and shit, like you say, like Smith coming in a bowl now, and then you can hear the scuff marks and then him like, ugh! You can hear all that. And then it's like this moment of like, it's almost, it's like, there's the crowd noise and shit. You can't hear anything for like 1 second. You're like, what's happened? What's happened? What's happened? What's happened? What's happened? Oh, it's bad. Got him. What? It's got him. Ah! It's just so good.
It's so good.
It's so fucking good. It's so...
It's engrossing. There's
so
nothing
good.
really like it. There's no other sport like it where it's, you know, it's not fast paced and it's not Michael Morgan flick past to Carl Felt to win the grand final in the dying second sort of shit where it's like, it's all happening. Everything's up and about. And it's like, it's slow. You've got time to sit in it. You've got time to think about the gravity of the situation and the moment and like what's needed. And the batter has time to think about it. The bowler has time to think about it. Like everyone is just able to sort of allow this intensity and this tension to build and build.
Yeah. Well, that's what they were saying yesterday as well. Like that was one of their criticisms of Nathan Lyon. And certainly I think it's been one of his criticisms like throughout his career. They often say this. Warren will say it a lot. They go, in these big moments when we need wickets and the tension's building, like you say, you need to let the batter fucking drown in it.
Yeah.
Like you're bowling too quick. Like just
I'm bowling way too quick as well.
Take your fucking time and just move the fields an inch, a mil, just to fucking get in their heads. You know what I mean? Let them drown in narrative and yarn.
In the overwhelming pressure that comes from like trying to save a test. And that's what at one point Usman did. Like the ending was so sick. We haven't even talked about Uzi's double tons, but
we'll get to that.
But at one point Smith was just bowling. Like they were like, before you'd even realize, even the cameraman was like, oh shit, we got to cut back to Smith. He's already running back in. But at one point in the final over, Usman like went up to him and was like, yo, slow it down, brother. And the commentators are even like, yeah, this is what was actually needed. Like Smith does not need to be just like the batter wants this thing to be over.
Yes.
The batter wants these things to just fire through. Like you need to like make him drown in it.
Yeah. And it wasn't like, at least from what I was hearing on the radio, they'd let us know fairly early how many overs were left in the day. I think there was like 6 overs to go. The umps had said that there was no more pace bowling. You could only spin it. So I don't think that they're under like any crazy time constraints, especially in the later overs. Like he should have just slowed the fucking shit out of it.
No, yeah, it wasn't a time constraint thing. Like
I mean, more like light constraint potentially.
Yeah. No, it was like, okay, we can only bowl fucking spin. We've got time here. there was time to bowl spin. It wasn't
Yeah, there was.
like he'd get out of here before, like, especially when, it was going to be a matter of minutes is the difference.
It wasn't even that dark.
No, that was some weak bullshit saying we couldn't bowl pace anymore. But again, I don't know because I haven't faced Stark at 150 Ks. So who am I?
Exactly. Look, at the end of the day, as much as I fucking loved it and how glorious it was disappointing we didn't get that W.
Yes.
It was very disappointing.
Disappointing.
A lot of people are saying that we didn't, we didn't declare early enough and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but we did want to see Uzi get his double.
Well, no, but once Uzi got his double, that was almost when if they were calling for a declaration, like an earlier one, I'm just going to close these windows. I got some guy chopping the wood, chainsaws and shit.
But I think I read somewhere that there was only like 2 or 3 overs after he got his turn.
Yeah, it wasn't. Well, yeah, it wasn't. It was a few more though, and they went like they had a drinks break. Then they had Baggy Green got out. Then they brought in Carey, and then Carey got out.
That was weird when they sent Carey out. Gets out first ball or second ball, and then he runs off, and first ball, and then he runs off, and then that's the fucking innings. It's like
I didn't mind that.
That was a waste of time.
It was a waste of time. I just didn't mind it in the sense of like, well, fuck that. We're not giving Jack Leach a look at a hat trick, but
the reality is this, though. The reality is this: we had 102 overs. We bowled at them 102, which is quite like that's not nothing, bruh. 102 overs. You can win a fucking test match on a day 4, mostly day 5 pitch.
Did we have them? Or was
we had 11. We had 11 overs on the 4th day. Didn't take a wicket, and then we had 91 overs on day 5.
And we had a couple of chances we put down. Carey dropped one. We created enough opportunities. So, but there is an element. Obviously, you want 5-0, so you can just rub it in their fucking dumb faces with the greatest respect. But there's an element where I'm like, that experience of the final moments of that test was so good. Like that was as good as test cricket gets. Win, loss, draw, whatever. It was as fucking engrossing as it gets. Like, obviously a win in that scenario would have been the best iteration of what we had yesterday. But like, that was such a great fucking moment anyway. It's like, I'm happy with that. I'm actually,
well, think about it this way. If you need to risk the possibility of a draw being an outcome in order to get cricket that good, then I'll fucking draw up all day long, baby. You know what I mean? Like,
or if you're getting, obviously you want to have you want results, but like, we've had results. We've pumped them in every single test. And now it's like, oh, well, that was actually that was fun. That was fun.
It's now time for drama. It's now time for drama and elite test cricket because we've already got the Ashes. We've already pumped you into the fucking earth. Now it's time. It's time to be turned on. Now it's time to be turned on. And all those cunts from Melbourne being like, fucking New South Wales. It's like, bruh, sorry we delivered you one of the great tests all time.
What do you mean people because of the rain?
They're like, oh, it's like, okay. I heard this on the radio as well. Out of a possible 440 overs, is it? 450 overs? Something like that. Maybe it's less than that because of fucking innings changes and shit. I think they bowled 389. So it wasn't like shitloads less.
No. Laneem actually, try as she may, we didn't lose that much cricket. To be honest, the English have been responsible for far more days lost than Laneem ever has this whole series. England's
exactly.
First test went 3 days, I think. Second test went 2.5.
Mate, the Melbourne test went 2.5.
Melbourne test
2.5. And you're like, oh, yeah, Melbourne fucking rolls out great cricket, bruh. 2.5 days. Literally people flying down there and not getting to see any cricket.
The English should be apologising for the lack of cricket played this summer, not
exactly.
La Nina.
That's right.
Beaten La Nina, except I will say that apparently it's piss and rain in fucking Tasmania.
Well, look, I think that let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see on that. It'll be interesting though, because Hobart surely suits the English in terms of more like for like conditions.
day-night test, but mate, like that's what everyone's saying as well. Like, oh, you thought Scotty Boland was good, has just been good, which he has.
He's been better than good, bro.
It's been phenomenal, but wait till he gets a pink sheet in his fucking hands.
I wonder if they rest Stark. He's looking a bit lethargic.
I heard him saying that, but he's also a pink seed specialist. Like,
well, that's what I mean. That's why it's a problem, because he loves pink seed. He loves pink nut. When's the next test? 14th?
Dude, that's so good. I'm telling you, we got to have the 5th test in January every time. Like,
Tom, you and I have been calling for it for years. They've finally listened.
But was this a COVID decision for just this year, and they're going to go back to it this year?
No, I think you and I have moved the needle, my friend. 14th to the 18th. Don't give me another November test again, or I'll fucking scream. That's a promise.
It's a waste of time. No one really.
I will scream. And given that we're number one, me screaming makes noise. So don't make me scream. Don't make me scream.
Because this is great. Like, you know, usually we're done now, and it's some fucking 1 days, which I'll get into. But like, you know, it's not test cricket. Now we've got another 5 days, and I feel like this last one will be enough. Like there is. So I usually feel like after the 5th test in January, when it's usually the last, I'm still wanting a bit more.
You're craving. You're drooling for it. You're like, what the fuck is going off? I completely agree with you. We meander through. It's the 14th to the 18th, Tom, which gets us to day 2 of the Australian Open. The Australian Open sees us through to the end of the January, and then we wipe our hands of another beautiful, gorgeous, delicious, silly season, and we march forward.
And we tighten the belts, do up our shoelaces, do up our boots, and then we get into 2022 work. But that's
exactly what we do.
That's also like a feature of almost Gen Y, Gen Z, Gen whatever the fuck it is, millennial sort of shit, where it's like I constantly need distraction to the point where I'd prefer that cricket and tennis overlap as opposed to have cricket, break, tennis. Like, I need shit constantly going. I'm listening to one podcast, it finishes, another one's already playing, and or I've got a screen there, I've got a screen here, and I'm on my phone. Like, I need to be distracted at all times so that I don't think about, you know, so we don't go in here, so we don't go deep inside ourselves.
We don't want to go in here. We don't want to go in here, Tom. We don't want to go in here.
Or squash down issues, ignore.
This is what I like. So you finish your rugby league. November, you keep pure. You keep it pure for what? For punting on ponies, okay? November's for punting on ponies. Then December, you got Test cricket. January, you got Test cricket. Late January, you got the Australian Open. February, we take a breath, we collect, we put the heads down, and we look to rugby league. Then there's a couple of preseason games, which means something to some clubs, Tigers. But then we start to get into our rugby league work. And then first week in March, bang, we're back, baby. Now we're ripping and we're tearing again. It's good. It's structured. It's nice. It works. Cricket Australia makes smart decisions. Don't fucking move it again. Don't be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Test cricket is God in this country. It's God's summer sport. Keep it middle of Jan. Just keep it there.
Yep.
Keep it there. Won't say it again. Now, Usman Khawaja, Tom. Could you be more emphatic?
But like, where's he been?
Could you be more emphatic? Like, yeah, I know that me and JL has had some run-ins. Yeah, I know reading the fucking tea leaves that JL was like, fuck off, bruh. This is all alleged. But just reading between the lines, Tom, comes back when he's given a sniff because Travis Head gets COVID and goes, how does back-to-back tons sound, bruh? How does back-to-back same test match sound?
Ridiculous.
Ricky Ponting stuff.
Hold on a second. I've got this fucking cat. It always will be one of the I guess like the nicest fucking sights in Australian sport is just when you've got a batter out there at the top of their game, just doesn't look like getting out, except that one time where he got dropped. But like, just phenomenal, dude. He was unstoppable. And you know what, dude? Uzi seems like a cool guy.
I like Uzi, dude. I'm a big fan of him, bro. I've always been a fan of Uz.
He did
like maybe we've been critical of his overseas work in the past, but you know, you and I and the punter and the dribbler are fickle. But at home, in our own backyard, he's always delivered. Always.
Criticize. I mean, and we don't often live by this rule, but you criticize the player, not the person. Now, you know, we call Joe Root a weak English boy. Some might say that is criticizing the person. I disagree personally, and I'll get to Joe in a little bit actually. But Usman, I think when he did get dropped last time, he probably wasn't playing that well, but it's like, as I think Ricky Evans has been saying, he's like he's clearly in the top 6 best batsmen in the country, but he's a cool dude. He does the LeBron celebration. I'm not a big LeBron guy. You know, I don't mind the NBA peripherally, but like, sure, do a LeBron celebration. I don't give a fuck.
Him dancing at the MCG, he's a bit, you know what I mean? He's a bit of a larrikin. He can have a bit of fun. You
know, he's at peace with the world. Everything's good. And then, like, after he got his 100,
second one or first one?
Second one. Sorry, great point. They were doing a drinks break, and the Flying Fox was coming down to him, and Howie's asking him all these questions, and just the comfortability to be like, he doesn't give the sort of the bland responses and just sort of like the media manager sort of shit, but he was just sort of like, "Oi, Howie, like, mate, we're still going here. I'm still going to go out." And like, it was just one of those things where I think they were already talking about like, you know, what are you going to do when you're bowling? Like you know, when the next innings and all this sort of stuff. And it was just, he's just relaxed. He was funny. He's still making jokes while he's out on the field, but he's like, Howie, mate, like, I got to still go out there and face 150 Ks from Mark Wood. Like, just cool it, brother. It was just the way he is generally he seems to be very funny, very relaxed. And I like his personality. It was lovely that he got his double. Like, I mean, again, a century in both innings, you are in some red hot fucking form.
He's cool as a cucumber.
Yeah.
Fucking cool as a cucumber.
Seems like it's a bit bucket footy. Like, he just doesn't care anymore. He's like, man, fuck it. Like, I'm good. So let me play. Rip.
Unfortunately, I think little Marcus Harris would be watching that going, I'm applauding sensational batting here. He's a teammate. I've got to get around him. Uzi, one of the great blokes, like, seems to be quite loved by his teammates. Like David Warner and shit are big fans of him, obviously. Like, obsessed with him, which is saying something because I don't think David gets obsessed with many people. No. But he would be sitting there going, "Oh, I'm fucked."
Well, it better be him, and he better be fucked.
Who else are they going to drop?
No, but if they don't drop, like, imagine if they don't drop.
But that doesn't make any sense. It's like Travis Head has been fucking rock solid. Little Marcus.
But I'm just saying, imagine if they just don't drop it and go, well, no.
And don't pick Uzi.
Yeah.
Bro, you need to read the room a little bit. There will be a national outcry. They know better than that. Surely. It's like, okay.
How much?
Because, but like but they've changed the structure of the side. Apparently back in the day, as in, you know, when Uzi was let go, around that time, JL had like basically complete control of the whole side, selections, the way it was run, all that shit. Now they've got like, they've padded the side around him. He's got like head selectors and national fucking performance managers and all this shit. Like, it's not just the JL show now. And I think that, you know, cooler heads will prevail and the smart decision will be made. And I'm sorry, Marcus, that involves you fucking off.
Yes.
It is what it is, but like, that's the only decision, right? Usman opens. Usman
averages 96 from, I think, his 10 tests at opener.
Usman opens, bruh. It's simple. Usman opens. Marcus Harris, you're out. Travis Head back to number 5.
Loves Usman. We just said it. Let's have Dave. Let's get Dave what he wants. Dave loves Uzi. Uzi loves
him, bro. Mate, now we've got a serious opening pair. That's fucking dangerous. I don't know how long David intends on playing for, but Will Pukovsky came back earlier, Tom. He played some grade cricket in Melbourne, 40 off 68 seeds. Really good stuff, really encouraging signs. Now, if we can get Will good and ready, Usman, I mean, he still looks young. I know he's 35, but he looks young.
Looks young.
He looks young. And, if you look young, it's because you feel young, Tom. He feels young to me. I think you hang him around. He's a nice little transition for everyone. I think it works. I just got to plug the laptop in.
That's all right. And then, assuming you can still hear me, obviously, Dave has a use by date. Usman has a use by date, just age wise. But you're right. You bring in the Balkan Bulldog once he gets his head right, head pending, and then they're like, "Oh, who else?" Without paying much attention, but I've just heard his name back in the sort of the halls of power, if you will.
Rennie?
Matty Renshaw, the turtle.
I've heard the turtle mentioned as well, Tom.
Hey, and you know what? Rennie's I think he's picked up because he was obviously slow as fuck, dour cricketer or batter, which I don't mind, but slow to accumulate runs, which, is what you want in terms of seeing lacquer off nut. But since he's gotten to a bit of his big bash work, I think he now, he's freed himself up to sort of his wagon wheel has increased. And I think he's happier to play his shots, Eddie. Now, do I know that for any fact at all? Absolutely.
No, you don't. But you can run your eye over a wagon wheel, Tom.
Yeah.
You like wagon wheels, buddy? Sometimes you don't mind a wagon wheel yourself. You can spot a wagon wheel. He's freed the shoulders, the strike rate's going up, and he's scoring all around the ground. And that's what we need. Matty Renshaw, I think, is still pretty young, isn't he, Tom? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'd say he'd be in the sort of mid-20s range. Let's just do a quick little hop on the Google machine. Are you doing it?
I'll do it. When does a test cricketer peak? 27, 28?
27, 28, 29, 30.
Perfect.
I'd say.
Now, Matty Renshaw's only 25, Tom.
There you go.
Now, I do acknowledge he's English born. I don't know when he moved here.
But see, he's already played for Australia, so I'm cool with it.
Okay, yeah, we're cool with it.
Sort of English born. I think he moved out here early, so I'm sort of like, fuck it,
Moved to New Zealand when he was 7. Works for us, Tom. Then to Australia when he was 10. He's fine.
That's fine.
That's fine. He's absolutely fine. And
a little
bit of Aotearoa on the way through is fucking good for the soul.
It's good for you. It'll help you. It'll help you no end. But it's also nice that he's more of a child of the world as opposed to having anywhere specifically. So, it's not something where it's like, oh, he's English because he was born in. It's like, yeah, but he's bounced around. He's an international cat.
Yeah, he's an international cat. That's right. You're dead right. But I think we're in good hands, bruh. Bring on the future. We look good. We look rock solid. We look nice.
Now, I wanted to just quickly touch on Joe Root before we get back to just sort of a couple more things Australian related. Now, I know we bag out Joe Root a lot, which we do, and which, he doesn't score tons in Australia and all that jazz. I think Joe seems like he might be one of the nicest humans on earth. And I've found myself, and obviously this probably comes with the relaxing of the shoulders. Once you've got the Ashes locked away, I start to feel sorry for him at some point in these post-match press conferences where he just looks sad. But he just seems like a really nice guy who, unfortunately, captains one of the shittest cricket teams of all time, and he's terrified of Australian conditions. But as a person, seems like he's a great individual.
Well, he's born in the wrong era, right? Like sometimes you're born into a period, and it's quite often for the English, unfortunately, where you're not surrounded by very good cricketers, and it's hard to captain a side of fucking straight up losers. Let's be honest. And they can't seem to get their selections right either. I mean, Johnny Bairstow, where the fuck's he been? Yeah. Let's not pick Johnny. Let's not pick Stuart Broad, who took a 5 for. What are you doing? Where are your heads at collectively? You don't know what the fuck you're doing. So he's surrounded by weakness everywhere, not just on the playing side, but on the selection side as well. So I do feel sorry for him in that regard. He's obviously scored a mountain of runs. He's talented as fuck batsman. But you're right. He seems like a nice bloke. A leader of men, probably not, but he seems like a great guy.
Seems like a really good guy, not a leader of men. Tell you what, the English have picked up where they left off with ducks as well. I don't know how many they've got already in 2022, but I think it's like 3 or 4.
Oh, mate, I think they've got their eyes on the. It's like, Penrith, they went so close, they came back and they took the chockies. Liverpool in the Premier League, when they scored like the most points of all time, only to finish second behind Man City, they came back the next year, they dominated, they won. I see the English, having got so close, equaling the record, coming out this year and doing a job.
They go 55, 56, 57.
57. Maybe they push it out, something that will never be achieved. Maybe they go 60, 70, 80. Maybe they go big.
Yeah. Well, I hope so for their sake, because that's quite an achievement to have. They do already hold the record, but to have the undisputed record. Well, they hold the undisputed record, 2 English teams. But maybe they want to go one better and just.
Well, wouldn't it be disputed? They hold the disputed record?
Well, England hold the undisputed record because.
Yes, but that side, would you say that's disputed?
I think you just say they have equaled the record.
But if it's undisputed, if they break it, would it currently be disputed?
Well, it's not disputed because the record is theirs. But I think that's more around like champions and shit. So you could say they aren't the undisputed shittest team of all time from a Ducks-based perspective, because there is another team that was just as shit from a Ducks-based perspective. They're not undisputed Duck champions.
Glad we cleared that up, sort of.
No, I think that was important that we cleared that up. Carey's dropping a few balls. I think it's okay. I'm not too concerned. Some are. They spent a lot.
I think he's been pretty rock solid up until this test, though, right?
I think so, but then I feel like I must have missed something in the last test where he dropped a couple as well, or at least he dropped some. I don't know. I'm not too concerned about it, but I'm also like, don't drop catches.
No, but I think Alex knows that. Well, then if he doesn't, then someone ought to tell him before he gets, dropped. But he knows his job. It's got to be keep first, score runs second. Not like he's scoring a mountain of them, but you make your catches, bruh. Simple as that. On keepers, Tom. On keepers, as the sun comes out here in Avoca. I haven't heard Tim Payne's name mentioned once.
No, well, I think and we'd said that before. We'd forgot that he existed.
But now that we've said that, now that you and I touched on that, it still hasn't been mentioned.
No. I think
it's like he doesn't exist.
Well, I think Tim just went, fuck it. Like, I'm taking some time off. I don't need this bullshit.
I understand that, but I'm not talking about Tim saying something. I'm talking about Tim being mentioned in conversation.
I don't think anyone's considering bringing Tim out of, not even retirement necessarily, but just bringing him back.
But I mean more like, fucking Tim would be proud of the boys.
Yeah, right. Okay, just even like, I hope
hasn't been. It's like don't mention his name.
Don't mention the war, which is I think a saying from wartime. I don't know. I've heard people say it before. Yeah. Look, I feel sorry for Tim. I think Tim probably deserves a mention every once in a while in circles. Maybe privately he gets mentioned. I don't know, with the boys. Maybe they text him. Maybe he's part of the WhatsApp.
Is he still in the WhatsApp? Maybe.
Fuck. Imagine
I'd like to hope he's.
How does that work though? Because as the team rolls on, like, do you get removed? Like, imagine if you get dropped. How long do you have to be dropped for before you're out of the WhatsApp?
And do you know when you get removed from a WhatsApp? Or do you just sit there and you just one day it dawns on you that you've stopped getting notifications?
I think you know. I think it says you've been removed from the chat.
Oh, it does say that?
You have access, I think, to everything from when you were involved in it.
So it does say you've been removed?
I think it does.
As opposed to you guessing or assuming.
Oh, shit. Am I in? Am I not?
And when do you get added back in? Like, are you in it if you're in the setup but you're not playing? Like, are you in it if you're running waters, or have you got to be in the 11?
Or have you been? No, I think you're in it if you've been selected in like the squad.
In the squad.
Let's say, Len, they've got a tour of like, I think they're playing Pakistan. Or something.
So UAE, be UAE.
Yeah, well, it might be in Pakistan. They're talking about it. But anyway.
Oh, back to Pakistan.
There's talk, yeah. I don't know.
How long's that been?
Long time.
What, 20 years?
That's a Dior. That's a 100% Dior. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, if you say you're in this Ashes squad and you don't get picked for the tour of the UAE, are you now out of that WhatsApp group? And
I would assume so. I think it's see you later, bro.
What do they start a new one for every tour?
I don't think so.
That's a way to avoid awkwardness.
Yeah, but then you've got like fucking how many, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. And then you've got those losers. Who
is that like a memory?
You know
is
what
it
I mean?
like, oh, remember what we talked about here in fucking England in 2019?
Old jokes. Oh, yeah. Here, like, think about Joe Burns from like the last year's India tour. He's still in there like going, oh, how about, that time Rishabh Pant? And everyone's like, we don't really use this chat group anymore, Joe. We've moved on. We've got a new chat group. It saves having to actually remove them. You can just like, everyone's got old chat groups where like sometimes it'll ping and you're like, nah, not for me.
And who's in charge of it? Is the captain?
That's an admin shit show if ever I've seen one.
Lots to think about. Sock, Reed, maybe Sock could tell us.
Sock could tell us. But was Sock pre-WhatsApp being a main thing? I think it might have been. I think Sock was
pre too early. What did they do back then? They would have done something.
An email chain.
Maybe.
Not as useful.
No, not as useful, but they would have done something. I'm sure of that. Tom, you got anything else, brother?
Well, listen, mate. I mean, it was the Novak situation rolls on.
Where are we at with that?
So he is, I think, in court today. Might even be worth a little Google to see if anything's happened. But he's in court today. He had COVID already, and he thought that somehow got him an exemption. I don't know. Don't take anything I'm saying on this with any fucking authority because I haven't looked into it because I'm not that interested. But I am in the sense that it is like the biggest bumbling shit show, and it's actually embarrassing for the nation, I think, because it seems like we're trying to it seems like it's become really political and like trying to, ScoMo's tweeting.
So basically, his lawyers are arguing. Do you want me to give you a bit of a rundown here that I found on Twitter? It's currently going on. This is 42 minutes ago. Basically, the argument is that Novak Djokovic tested positive for COVID-19 on December 16, 2021, not that long ago. He says that under ATAGI advice that exempts him from being vaccinated for 6 months. I thought that was true. This is the advice he's referring to. COVID-19 vaccination in people who have had PCR-confirmed SARS-CoV-2 infection can be deferred for a maximum of 6 months after the acute illness as a temporary exemption due to acute major medical illness. However, the Home Affairs Minister, Karen Andrews, says previous infection with COVID-19 is not considered a medical contradiction for COVID-19 vaccination in Australia.
Right, that to me seems insane because it's like
Djokovic disputes that and the Commonwealth disputes him. So basically, he's arguing that on this advice from the ATAGI that he shouldn't need to get it, and they're saying that he has to get it. For me, I don't understand why the government's trying to die on this hill. Wouldn't you just go, you know what? This is going to turn into a fucking shit show. Novak Djokovic, like it or lump it, is the best tennis player in the world. He's good for bums on seats. He's good for the tournament. And the outcome is that we look like some tyrannical fucking mess where we're nitpicking over all this bullshit. Like, if he's got proof that he had COVID and there's the medical advice saying that he shouldn't get a vaccine within 6 months of that period, then go fucking good on ya.
But the thing is, I think that...
What's the problem?
I think that And it would make sense to me. And I've heard that before as well. You don't want to get too into the fucking weeds around like what you do and don't do or what is good for you and what isn't good for you because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. But like I'd heard that if you've already had it, you've got antibodies. And so getting a vaccine is unnecessary, as they're saying, for 6 months at least, like for however long your antibodies last. But then also like it could almost be bad for you because it's like giving you extra whatever the fuck it is, extra virus or extra spike protein or whatever the fuck they want to call it. But like, so you're better off waiting till you don't have any of the antibodies, then you get the vaccine. But I don't think that's the rule in Australia. So if they were to go with him, all right, fuck it. Yeah, you can do it. You've already had it. Then they're basically setting a precedent for everyone else in the country. Even
I was under the impression that was already an existing.
I don't think so.
Rule
I think
here.
if you've already had it, you still needed to get vaccinated. Like there's no fucking vaccine passport where you can go into a pub. Oh, so you already had COVID.
Well, think about this, Tom. Can I make a point? Why can't you get the booster? Like it's basically like getting the booster a month after having your vaccination, and they're like, "Well, that's dangerous." Well, what's the difference?
In terms of
So he's arguing that he had COVID, which is like getting the vaccine, sort of, right? And they're saying that it's then they're saying it's unsafe to get the booster for at least 4 months, right? It was 6 months. It's been moved into 4 months. He's arguing that he had COVID a month ago and that getting the vaccination would be unsafe. And they're saying, well, no, it's not. But you already are saying that because you don't want people getting the booster and within a 4 month time period. So you are saying that. But you're not saying it in this situation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Now I understand what you're saying. That's the problem with this whole thing is it's just like it doesn't seem like it's really based on medicine and medical advice. It's based on like political sort of point scorey, sort of like, well, we've got to keep our borders tight and this is the rules for everyone and like it doesn't seem like it's sort of in the logic side of things. Now, who the fuck knows though? I just think it's embarrassing. Like, and also that he's been kept in like a detention center. Like, and also, you know what else?
Isn't there people, but you know what's fucked? Isn't there people that have been there for 9 fucking years?
Yeah, dude. And you don't even really know about it. Like that was actually the saddest realization. I saw someone rocked up to go and protest Djokovic being held in there, and then they realized that people had been in there for like 9 years. Now, like, I just feel bad that I didn't even know that, and I was coming here to protest like a fucking tennis player. There's people that have been.
They don't fucking tell you anything. Our borders are so fucked up. They are.
There was like a guy. I saw a guy like staring at the window holding a sign. He was like, "I was put in here when I was 15. I'm 22." What the fuck is going on that you are doing that to a person? That is crazy. In a hotel. And they just don't even talk about it. It's just like, like, how long are they there for? How long are they there for? Forever?
What?
Are we
Crazy.
That's people fucking prisoners who haven't really, they might have like, they've done the wrong thing by trying to like jump the queue to get out of a fucking war-torn country though. They're not bad.
But if they've got refugee status, then they shouldn't be treated like that. No one should be treated like that anyway. Julian Assange was in that Ecuadorial fucking, it's probably a similar setup. And he's like violently ill now.
Yes.
It's not in a good way.
No. And his was like, you know, like he wasn't trying to escape a war-torn country.
No, but I'm saying the effects of being kept in that environment for a prolonged period.
Like, again, like they're like, a lot of them are like, I'd prefer to go back to the fucking, at least I was free. Like send me back to the war-torn country where I could just get killed for being myself because at least I was free. Now I'm locked down in a goddamn hotel room, probably eating shit. It's not like the food's nice. What sunlight would you get? That
shit is, it's very much hidden from us, like our border protection.
It's disgraceful, bro. That's the most disgraceful bit about it, that everyone's up in arms that fucking Novak, probably close to a billionaire, is locked down for 72 hours or whatever, you know, a week or whatever it is in this hotel. And there are literally people in there that have been there for 7-9 years.
You know what it is, Tom? The whole thing, it's a shit show.
It's a shit show. How the fuck do we have people allowing that to happen? Like I can't understand. a way that you'd be able to explain to me that that is a reasonable treatment for human beings in a hotel.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, we'll see what happens with Novak today. I don't know what the go is. People are saying he's got fucking
That's
no
our
hope.
human. Well, they're saying that even if he wins in court, the government are they can just still deny him. So it's like, what's the point?
It's so petty. Surely it's got to be more to do with them trying to deny him getting Roger's record or beating Roger outright. Nothing else makes sense to me, Tom.
No,
really,
this has got to be like big.
This has got to be Federer
or the
motivated.
Swiss is Roger Swiss.
Is Roger Swiss?
Yeah.
Tom, come on.
Well, you know what I mean.
He's rough as Spaniard. Come on, bro.
He's rough as Spaniard. Rus. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, Eddie, I think that's us. I think that's probably us. Shout out to the punter and the dribbler. We continue to roll despite COVID, despite everything, despite the human rights violations that go on our shores and off. I don't know, dude.
Nice, buddy. Nice way to finish.
That was a good one.
Love the punter, love the dribbler, love yous all. Bye-bye.
Could you two just not talk anymore?